The search for peace. Every person on this earth is searching for something. Some call it happiness, some call it fulfillment, but deep down what the human heart longs for most is peace. We see people running after success, money, and recognition, believing that once they achieve these things, they will finally be at rest. But have you ever noticed how even the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world still struggle with anxiety, emptiness, and dissatisfaction? Look around you. People are more connected than ever, yet loneliness is at an all-time high. Technology has made life more convenient, yet stress levels continue to rise. Depression and anxiety plague millions, even those who appear to have everything together. Why? Because the world cannot give the kind of peace the human soul truly needs. Some seek peace in relationships, believing that if they can find the right person, their heart will be settled. But what happens when that person fails them? When disagreements arise, when life takes unexpected turns, or when they lose the very person they built their peace upon. Others search for peace in their careers, striving for promotions, bigger paychecks, and greater recognition. But once they reach the top, they realize it's not enough. They thought financial security would bring them peace, yet the pressure only increases. Many turn to distractions, entertainment, social media, alcohol, or even substances, hoping to numb the unrest within. They chase temporary highs, but once the moment fades, the emptiness remains. They travel the world, buy bigger houses, fill their lives with noise, yet in the quiet moments they still feel a void that nothing seems to fill. Some think peace will come with time. One day, they say, when I have everything I want, when life finally settles down, I'll be at peace. But that day never comes, because true peace is not found in external circumstances. It is not found in possessions, people, or achievements. If it were, then those who have everything would be the most peaceful people on earth. But they are not. This is the great deception of the world. It tells you that peace is something you must chase, something you must earn, something you will find if you just keep searching hard enough. But the truth is, peace is not something you find by running after the things of this world. It is something you receive when you stop running. The human heart was never designed to be at peace apart from its Creator. We were made for something greater than this world. That is why nothing in this world can satisfy us completely. It is why people who have everything still feel like something is missing, because what they are searching for is not in the temporary, it is in the eternal. If peace could be bought, the rich would have purchased it long ago. If peace could be achieved through power, the most influential people on earth would be the most content. If peace could be found in relationships, no one would ever experience heartbreak or disappointment. But the reality is, peace does not come from what we have. It comes from who we belong to. Some spend their entire lives searching for peace, never realizing that it was never meant to be found in the things of this world. The more they chase, the more they struggle. The harder they try, the more exhausted they become. They carry burdens they were never meant to carry, trying to fix their lives on their own, trying to fill a void that only God can fill. This is why so many people feel lost, anxious, and restless, because they are looking for peace in places that cannot provide it. They search for peace in the things of this world, but true peace comes from beyond this world. The temporary versus the eternal. Everything in this world is temporary. The money we earn, the possessions we accumulate, the achievements we chase, they all fade with time. People spend their entire lives working for things that do not last, pouring their energy into success, status, and comfort, only to realize that none of it follows them beyond this life. Look at history. Powerful empires have risen and fallen. The wealthiest individuals of past generations are nothing more than names in books. The businesses people built, the legacies they fought for, the awards they received, where are they now? The world keeps moving forward, and everything that once seemed so important eventually fades into the past. Yet, despite knowing this, people continue to live as if the things of this world will last forever. They work tirelessly to build a life of comfort, believing that security comes from having more. They chase fame, thinking that being recognized and admired will bring lasting significance. They devote their lives to gaining power, assuming that control will bring fulfillment. But in the end, every material possession, every title, every moment of worldly success eventually loses its value. Consider the wealthiest people in the world. They have more money than they could ever spend, yet many of them still feel empty. They spend millions on luxurious homes, cars, vacations, yet deep inside they are restless. They have everything the world tells us should bring happiness, yet peace still escapes them. Why? Because material things were never meant to satisfy the soul. Some people chase after pleasure, believing that happiness comes from experiences, entertainment, or indulgence. They try to fill their emptiness with travel, parties, relationships, and distractions. But after the excitement fades, they are left searching for the next thrill, the next escape. The world offers temporary satisfaction, but it never truly fulfills. Others devote themselves to building their legacy, hoping to be remembered after they are gone. They want their names to be written in history, their accomplishments to be recognized, their influence to last. But time moves forward and generations pass. The things people fight so hard for today will one day be forgotten. Buildings will crumble, books will collect dust, and memories will fade. Even our physical bodies are temporary. No matter how much people try to fight aging, no matter how many treatments or surgeries they undergo, time marches on. Beauty fades, strength diminishes, and health declines. No one can escape the reality of mortality. Yet, in contrast to the temporary nature of this world, there is something that lasts forever. The things of this world will pass away, but the things of God remain. While money, power, and status disappear, a life lived for God has eternal significance. The way people spend their time reveals what they truly value. If all their efforts are focused on things that will fade, they will one day realize they were chasing after the wind. But those who live for something greater, those who invest in things that are eternal, will never experience the emptiness of temporary pursuits. The world constantly changes. Trends come and go. What is popular today is forgotten tomorrow. What people once considered valuable loses its worth over time. But when someone chooses to live for God, they are investing in something that cannot be taken away. Every person must ask themselves, what am I living for? If everything they are striving for is temporary, then no matter how much they achieve, it will never be enough. But if they set their hearts on what is eternal, they will find a purpose and fulfillment that this world cannot provide. Surrendering to God's will, there is a deep struggle in the human heart, the desire for control. People want to be the masters of their own destiny, to make their own plans, to decide their own future. They believe that if they can just work hard enough, think smart enough, or prepare well enough, they can secure their own happiness and success. But time and time again, life proves that control is an illusion. People make plans and then life happens. They set goals only to be met with obstacles they never saw coming. They map out their future only to have their dreams shattered by circumstances beyond their control. A sudden loss, an unexpected illness, a financial crisis. Things happen that no one can predict. And in those moments, many are left feeling helpless. The world tells people to take control, to be strong, to rely on themselves. But self-reliance often leads to exhaustion. Trying to carry the weight of life alone is a burden too heavy for anyone. Anxiety, stress, and fear creep in when people try to control things that were never meant to be in their hands. But there is another way. A way that does not lead to exhaustion, a way that does not leave people drowning in worry and fear. It is the way of surrender. Surrendering to God's will does not mean giving up. It does not mean becoming passive or refusing to work hard. It means trusting that God's plan is greater than anything a person could plan for themselves. It means letting go of fear and embracing faith. It means choosing to believe that even when things do not go as expected, God is still in control. There are people who spend their entire lives resisting God's will. They ignore His calling, push away His guidance, and insist on doing things their own way. But time and time again, they find themselves running into dead ends. They chase after things that do not satisfy. They make decisions based on their own understanding only to realize later that they were wrong. They try to force their way through life only to end up tired, frustrated, and lost. Surrender is not a sign of weakness. It is the greatest act of trust. It is recognizing that God's wisdom is far greater than human wisdom, that His ways are higher than human ways. It is acknowledging that He sees the full picture while people see only a small part. Many people struggle to surrender because they are afraid. They fear that if they give control to God, He will take them down a path they do not want to go. They fear that He will ask them to give up things they are not ready to let go of. But what they fail to realize is that surrendering to God does not lead to loss. It leads to freedom. When a person surrenders their life to God, they no longer have to carry the weight of trying to figure everything out on their own. They no longer have to live in constant worry about the future. They no longer have to fear the unknown. Because when they trust in God's will, they know that no matter what happens, He is leading them in the right direction. People often think that peace comes from control, but the truth is peace comes from surrender. It comes from releasing the need to control everything and resting in the knowledge that God is in charge. It comes from letting go of fear and choosing to walk in faith. It comes from recognizing that God's plan is not just good, it is perfect. There are those who are holding on to things that God is asking them to release. They are holding on to their own plans, their own desires, their own ideas of how life should be. But true peace comes when a person lays everything at God's feet and says, Lord, not my will, but yours be done. Overcoming fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety have gripped the hearts of millions. People wake up in the morning with worries that follow them throughout the day, and they lie awake at night with thoughts that refuse to let them rest. Fear of the future, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not having enough. These burdens weigh heavily on the human soul. Anxiety tightens its grip, making it hard to breathe, hard to focus, hard to move forward. Many try to fight fear on their own. They tell themselves to stay strong, to push through, to ignore their feelings. Some distract themselves with entertainment, work, or social media, hoping that if they stay busy enough, their fears will fade. Others turn to substances or unhealthy habits to numb the feelings of anxiety, only to find that the fear returns stronger than before. No matter how much people try to run from fear, it always finds a way to catch up with them. Fear is a prison, and many live their lives trapped within its walls. They avoid taking risks because they are afraid of failure. They hold back from building relationships because they are afraid of getting hurt. They refuse to step into God's calling because they are afraid they are not good enough. Fear whispers lies that keep people from living the life they were meant to live. But fear was never meant to have control over anyone. It was never meant to dictate decisions, limit dreams, or steal peace. Fear is a weapon that the enemy uses to keep people from trusting in God. When fear takes over, faith is pushed aside. When anxiety rules the heart, it becomes difficult to hear God's voice. Fear thrives in uncertainty. It makes people believe that if they cannot see the future, they must prepare for the worst. It tells them that if they are not in control, everything will fall apart. But fear is a liar. It magnifies problems, exaggerates dangers, and convinces people that they are alone in their struggles. Yet the truth is this: no one is alone. God sees every fear, every worry, every anxious thought. He knows the burdens that weigh on the heart, and He has not called anyone to live in fear. Over and over again He speaks the same message: do not be afraid. The reason fear loses its power in the presence of God is because God is greater than anything that causes fear. When a person places their trust in Him, they no longer have to fear the unknown because He holds the future. They do not have to fear failure because His strength is made perfect in weakness. They do not have to fear being alone because He has promised never to leave nor forsake His people. Anxiety fades when trust in God increases. Worry disappears when faith grows. The moment a person stops focusing on their fears and starts focusing on God, everything changes. It does not mean challenges will not come. It does not mean difficulties will not arise. But it means that fear will no longer have the power to control them. There are those who live with constant anxiety, carrying burdens they were never meant to carry, but God is calling them to lay those burdens at His feet. He is calling them to trade their fear for His peace, their worry for His presence, their anxiety for His assurance. The question is not whether fear will come. The question is whether they will choose to live in it or trust the one who has already overcome it. A call to commitment. Every person must make a choice in life, what they will live for, whom they will serve, and where they will place their trust. Some choose to live for themselves, chasing after success, pleasure, and comfort. Others devote their lives to their careers, their relationships, or their personal ambition. But in the end, the only life that truly matters is the one lived for God. Commitment to God is not something that happens by accident. It is a deliberate choice. Many people believe they can live however they want and turn to God when it is convenient. But God is not looking for part-time devotion. He is not asking for a portion of a person's life. He is asking for all of it. He is calling people to surrender everything to Him, not just on Sundays, not just in times of trouble, but every single day. There are many who hesitate to commit fully to God because they fear what it might cost them. They worry about what others will think. They fear losing friends, missing out on success, or having to give up things they enjoy. But the truth is, anything given up for God is never truly lost. What He offers in return is far greater than anything this world could ever provide. Some stand at a crossroads, knowing that God is calling them, but they continue to delay. They tell themselves they will commit their lives to Him someday when they have more time, when they are older, when life settles down. But someday is not promised. The opportunity to turn to God is now. The call to follow Him is not for a distant future. It is for today. There are also those who claim to follow God, yet their lives show no evidence of true commitment. They say the right words, attend church, and even read the Bible, but their hearts remain divided. They try to live for both the world and for God, but such a life only leads to frustration and spiritual emptiness. No one can serve two masters. True commitment means making God the center of everything. It means seeking Him first above all else. Commitment to God is not just about believing in Him, it is about following Him. It is about obeying His word, trusting His plan, and walking in His ways. It is about standing firm in faith even when the world pushes in the opposite direction. It is about remaining faithful in both the good times and the difficult times. Some may wonder if they are worthy of such a commitment. They may feel unworthy because of their past, their failures, or their weaknesses. But God is not looking for perfect people. He is looking for willing hearts. He is calling those who are ready to leave behind their old ways and step into the life He has prepared for them. There are moments in life when a decision must be made. A person cannot stand on the sidelines forever. They cannot stay in a place of indecision. The call of God requires a response. The question is not whether He is calling, it is whether people will answer. Will they continue to live for temporary things, or will they commit their lives fully to Him? Will they hold on to their own plans, or will they surrender to His? Will they keep waiting for a better time, or will they choose to follow Him now?